Hi, everybody. All of you might have heard of these terms, right? AI, chat GPT, tech revolution is taking over the industry. But what do all these things mean? Irrespective of your role in an organization, if you think that technology is not for you, you are wrong. In today's Socratic Dialogue on technological models, we'll hear our budding leaders talk about how technology can change the business landscape. So, which one of the teams would like the initiative to go first and introduce themselves?
So first, initially, Team Trucker, Team Trucker is going to take initiative. So I introduce myself that my name is Uma Maheshwar and I work as a backend developer in Deep Thought, and rest of my team will come.
Yeah. So I'll go in next. So myself, Shawan. So I am a software developer and a leader at Deep Thought.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pavani. I'm a data scientist and deep thought.
Okay, we are Team Insta Screener. I am Anaya. I work as UI UX designer in Deep Thought.
I am in Team Insta Scanner. I am Anshul Nishan, and I am currently associated as a data scientist in United Biotech Limited.
I am Tushar Mittal.
Tushar, you're not audible. Could you please fix your mic?
I'm in the team of Insta Screening. And right now, I'm working as a product manager.
Project manager in JSMEs. Thank you, Tushar. Okay, the co-mods can also introduce themselves.
Okay, I can go in first. So, hi, my name is Purnima, and I'm working as a software developer at DeepThought. And today I'll be making sure this dialogue doesn't go on tangents by being the Purnima.
Hi everyone, I'm Gaurav. I'm involved with DT as a data scientist. So I'll be co-moderating this session. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And hi, everybody. I'm Samita. I'll be moderating this session. I'm a psychologist at Deep Thought, and currently we're trying to productize the learning and development department here. So that is also something that you will be seeing in this dialogue, which is a very fascinating one about how tech is revolutionizing the industry. So, which one of the teams would like to take the initiative to go first with the pitch?
I think we can go first. Yeah, Team Trucker would like to go first. Okay, but I think before we go ahead, can we also have the reasons behind the names, right? The team names. So if I talk about my team, so we are Team Trucker. So we have named ourselves, I mean, behind the, I think, Peter Drucker, right? So as you know, he is known as the father of the management, right? The management. So that's why we have named ourselves. Yeah. So I would like the next team to go ahead.
Our team name is Insta Screener. We have named it so because it uses artificial intelligence for the initial screening of the application, applying for the job profile and it does it in a very short span.
Okay, very interesting. Team Drucker and Team Insta Screener. So, which one of the teams would like to take the initiative? Which?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go first. So I would like Uma to
Shaban, you're
share the
not
screen.
audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think Uma can share the screen and yeah, Team Drucker can go first.
Yeah,
Yeah, can you go to the first slide? Okay. Okay. So the problem statement that we have chosen is, so basically, I mean, as there is this huge problem statement, right, where the remote work. So there is, I mean, a major drawback that we can see, right, in terms of remote work. So as everybody is working from home, there are significant lack in the structure, the routine, right? And also there are like problems in terms of management and efficiency. right? That occurs when people work from remote, right? So that's what we have chosen as a problem statement. So we'll be solving this ahead in our slides. Yeah. Yes, Uma, can you go to the next slide? Okay. So for the solution part of it, as I mentioned, right, there is lack of structure, there is lack of, not proper tracking and everything, right? So that's why we have this AI solution that helps us to analyze and also give us key insights and recommendation of how to track it properly so that everything is managed properly. Yeah. Okay. So in a technological model, our first thing starts with efficient tracking, right? So basically we do track the behavioral part of the employees and also ensuring that the productivity is also measured properly in terms of the KPIs that's all the set by the managers, right? And in terms of behavior, we also do track the work habits, right? The performance overall, right? And also, so basically, it also tracks the, the bottlenecks or any problems, right? That the employees share in terms of journals or reflections. Yeah, I think I would like Umar to take it ahead.
Okay, as previously
You
we
can
were
go to the next
discussing
slide.
about,
Yeah.
as previously we were discussing about the technological model, right? Here we are also including a AI model into our technological model, right? So here AI model takes the historical data like previous weeks or previous months KPI scores and previous months work habits, all these things, and it collects all these things and it calculates the efficiency or how much work an employee can do, right? So that now manager can allocate the work according to it. And according to the KPIs, previous history KPIs, manager can also suggest some improvements to the employee, or he can also suggest some learning aspects, learning drills like that also. And another thing is future vision. After solving all this problem by using a technological model, we should also have a future vision so that now in a long run, our technological model has to live, right? So that future generation could learn from this, right? So here we are initially targeting the remote employees, and further we attract many target audience by seeking some uh, feedbacks from them and taking some feedbacks and trying to sort out some use cases from them, and we try to make the use cases and inculcate them in our next version of the technological model. And I think Pani will take over from.
Yeah. In future, we want to analyze the team communication and interactions using emotional sentiment analysis. This will help the project managers and team leads to address the issues before they can escalate and ensure. And this also ensures a positive team dynamic. Next slide, please. And to conclude our technology model, the remote work culture fosters diversity among employees and areas, which we all know. But the managing these team members is challenging. So this is where our technology model will step in. Which ensures effective management so that we can fully embrace the benefits of the diversity in the work culture. Thank you.
I'm stopping this coach.
Okay, very interesting pitch, Team Drucker. So, would Team Insta Screener like to go ahead with the questions? Sorry, just to clarify before we go ahead, for the people who are not that well versed in tech, could you guys quickly explain what use case means?
Use cases means, so for example, say we have
Shaman,
this
you're
model.
not.
Am I audible now?
You are on.
Okay, so basically use cases means, so today, for example, I have a tech, right? It might have certain use cases, but can this model also have some different types of use cases, right, of the same field? The use case means certain areas where this tech, the involvement of this tech can make things easier, right? More areas to use this technology. So that's what we meant by use cases.
Okay. Thank you, Shaman. Yes, Team Insta Screener, you can go ahead with your questions.
Okay, so you mentioned that you are trying to like have a diversity in your system, address your diversity. So how are you making sure of that?
So as we mentioned, right, we believe in remote work culture,
Someone
right?
please check your mic. You're not audible.
It's
Am I
audible
audible?
for me.
Yes.
He's audible for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Okay.
think something is wrong with.
I think it's
Yeah, no
mine.
worries.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, right, like we promote remote work culture. So basically, if we, I mean, so by remote work culture, we can attract talent, right, from various parts of this world. So that's how we are ensuring that the diversity keeps maintained. Yeah.
Okay.
Any follow-ups, Team Insta Screener?
And how are you tracking? Like, are you using some tools or like your model is doing that, right?
Yeah, actually, I mean, our model integrates, right, and that's how we do the tracking. So it's basically a platform that has, I mean, basically, you know, right, the initial onboarding can happen, and after that, the platform keeps on tracking everything of the inputs given by the managers and also whatever, I mean, the employees do.
Any other questions? Yes, Insta Screener.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, there is, you have described of the maintaining the work-life balance along with efficiency. How you are going to do that?
So can you repeat it again?
You have mentioned in your slide that you will help in maintaining work-life balance, and along with that, efficiencies also improve. So how we are going to do with that model?
Yeah, can I take that?
So
I mean, if you want, you can take. Yeah, no worries.
okay. There now, according to our tracking system, we are checking the efficiency rate by making the KPIs and all. We are checking the work habits, how many hours the particular employee is giving to the work or not. So here now we get to know here a particular individual or employee is contributing how many hours other than working hours of the organization or not. So that now we can suggest the employees, so you can reduce your work or delegate the work if it is very much hard, right? So here we maintain the work and life, right? So another thing is efficiency. We know the efficiency of the employee by the KPIs and all things, and if the efficiency is low, the manager is going to suggest some improvements, or according to that efficiency he can allot that work particular task to the employee. I think it answers your question.
Yes, I just wanted to deeper go. What are the KPIs you are using to ensure that, and how it is making your making you like making your conviction intact with your model? How is the KPI doing that?
So yeah,
Uh,
okay. I think the first part I can take, the second part you can take. I think that will be fine.
okay.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned it. How are we measuring this KPI? So see, KPIs are basically role specific, right? A developer might have different KPIs. I mean, a UI designer might have different KPIs, right? So that's assigned by the manager himself or herself. Yeah. And what was the second part of your question?
I was telling how much conviction do you have on this KPI that it will do the job what you intend for?
Okay. So again, one more clarification. This KPIs will be set based on the employees. I mean, you know, right? Like everyone has some different strengths of theirs, right? Like somebody might do the work fast, somebody might do it slow, right? So depending on that, we assign the KPIs. Right. And if at some point we see if there is a misalignment with with the KPIs and the efficiency, then we suggest some learnings, or yeah, we nudge them with that.
Anshul, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So just a sort of follow up on that, right? So you have these KPIs and you're going to be measuring everything based on this automated system of performance management. So is there any role that the manager or supervisor is going to play in the entire process?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, right, first is the definition of the KPIs. That's initially we have decided that the manager can do, right? And secondly, right, I mean, giving feedbacks, right? So as of now, what we have decided is like in the initial phase, the managers can themselves give the feedback, right, of the or the improvement areas that the employees can work on, right? And slowly we have also thought to make the system automated, but as of now, we have thought that the managers can do it.
Okay. Any follow-ups from Team Insta Screener? Okay, any different question?
So what is the accuracy rate of the KPIs you have said?
Again, I would say the KPIs are set by the managers, right? So
Okay.
that's totally role specific, and it is in line with the deliverables. So I don't know how to calculate efficiency there. Sorry, not efficiency, accuracy. Yeah.
Okay, what kind of data of the employees are you going to track? Is it just based on the like KPI and the specific metrics you mentioned, but like how are you getting an idea of what all they have
Yeah, I
done
mean,
throughout the
yeah, not just, I mean, KPIs and everything, but you know, right, there are a lot of other parameters that can be tracked, right? Like daily reflections, the journals, right? Then the working habits, right? Like, I mean, there are a lot of parameters that we can calculate. So, but these are a few examples that I mentioned.
Okay, so how are you ensuring that the organization is comfortable sharing all this data with you people?
So basically, see what this model can do is basically this model can run individually, right, for different organizations if they want, right? So they can create a new instance of it and run it. I think by that way, they can use this system as their own sole system, right? The- So that's how the data can also remain confidential on their systems, and also this the central problem can be solved.
Okay. But what if there's a case where there is a problem with the data and there is someone required from your team to go and fix it? Will that data still remain confidential?
I mean, in those cases, I think those are special cases, right? So I think we can sign some kind of NDAs with them so that the data remains secure, right? Some non-disclosure agreements or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Team Rakar. Any other questions from Team Insta Screener?
So what are your inputs like for your AI tool?
Okay. Now, again, yeah, that depends on what we are tracking, right? So first of all, if we track the behavior, the behavioral part of it, then it comes about say data points, right? Like how quickly was he able to finish this KPI? I mean, do this deliverable, right? Again, comes on the performance part of it, right? Then, as I mentioned, right, the reflections, the journal. So, are there any bottlenecks that he's either stuck or it's taking too much of time, right? So these all are few data points that we want to collect.
Okay, but like okay, if you collect that and you will be setting KPIs, right?
Not me, they're managers. Yeah.
And you will only process it if it matches the whatever data you have given.
No. See, the KPIs I mean, will not match the KPIs. KPIs will be given to the employees by the managers, right? So that the deliverables can be done. Right. We are just tracking the behavior part here, right? Like how much time did the employee took to finish this KPI, like to achieve this KPI, right? So that's what we are tracking.
Okay, but that can be managed even without the AI, right?
No, tracking is a different part of it, right? Analysis is the part where the AI comes, right? So for example, if I want to say, see, basically I can take all of this data, right? This historical data, and I can also form some kind of bar or a chart, right? That can help the manager in assigning the KPIs more better, right? So say if somebody's efficiency is low, right? So our system can trigger some kind of alerts or mechanisms, right? That can actually help the manager in better assignment of tasks or say suggesting some improvement areas. So that's what I meant.
Basically helping the manager to keep the track of the employees.
Yeah, so that's what the entire thing is, right? Helping the managers to manage things more efficiently. That's what our role is. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, just to follow up. So you're basically going to track that data and see what are the disparities, like right where the person can improve and all that. But other than that, the improvements that are going to come in, they will be coming from the organization or the managers, they're the ones who will decide what improvement has to be done.
Yeah, we can indicate things, right? As of now, the managers can take the actions.
Okay, so how is that going to set your product or service apart from like other data tracking systems for employees?
I mean, see, the other data tracking systems can track your deliverables and things, right? But what we have here is this also takes into account the emotions, right? The behavior part of it, right? So, I mean, as we mentioned, right, that's one of our future visions also, right? Where we want to make escalations as quick as possible before even the manager realizes it, right? Like something is wrong or there is something that's stopping this employee from contributing to the fullest, right? So this is one of the areas where I mean, our technology actually makes a difference.
Okay, could you elaborate a bit more about how
Yeah,
their
so
emotions are going to be? Yeah.
yeah, so by the emotions, as I mentioned, right, the daily work reflections that an employee can write, right? So that can focus, right, on, like, for example, I mean, I achieved something, right? The reflections can focus on achievements, right, or celebrations. So that is a trigger for us, right? That okay, he's achieving something. Or say someone was stuck in something for a longer duration of today, like of work today, right? So that can also uh, I mean, alert us, right, that okay, he has some bottlenecks, and can we figure it out, can we help him, right? So that level of intelligence our system brings.
Okay. So how are you ensuring that these managers or supervisors see the importance of ensuring that their employees are in like a good state of emotions?
Okay, so acha, okay, anyone from the team would like to take in?
Here now, by escalating it before by knowing the manager, we are saving the time, right? By making the time difference now, the product or the thing the employees is working, right? They can work faster than previous, right? That's the thing.
By regulating their emotions, they'll be able to work faster. Is that what you're saying? So how are you showing this difference? Like, is there some kind of research backing, or how are you showing that your product is going to help with this?
Yeah, we are using AI to predict the future also. Like if the performance continues into the future, how the contribution will be. If the improvements are added, how the contribution will be.
Okay,
I mean,
but
we can also expect the project completion time, and we can also analyze many things.
Okay, one
Just
thing.
a counter to that, how can you use AI to predict what will happen in the future?
The historical data, we provide the historical data points, right?
Okay, so you're not really predicting what will happen in the future, right? You're just seeing the patterns and then you're suggesting some things, right? Okay.
And Shravan mentioned about reflections, like it is in the degree, like it can't be like every organization have that ecosystem where they write reflections. So how will you put that as a point, like the reflections of that
There
environment?
there is no such thing to say. If manager says to the employee to write a reflection of 300 words, he definitely writes
I won't, yeah,
right.
so I won't take that, but see, basically, I think in this case, education can be helpful, right? So basically, I mean, we believe that I mean, daily reflections, right? Like reflecting on what I have done today actually helps in improving, right? Like improving the, I mean, see, for example, if I have learned something new today, if I reflect on it, I get more clarity on it, right? And eventually that improves the efficiency of any employee, right? So if we could present case studies like this, right? If we could educate people of like this reflection culture, right? I think that's where we can inculcate this process.
Then how are you going to capture emotions from that? Like reflections maybe of only related to work.
See, reflections need not be specific to work, right? It can be a reflection of what I have done today, right? Now that involves not just work but other variables also.
Okay, and what if the project is done, okay, but the employee is not happy, but you can like with the ecosystem or something, how are you going to detect like all those scenarios, or maybe a different scenario?
Yeah, right. So see, I mean, if we especially talk about AIs, right, like NLP, so we can actually capture, right, like words, right? Words are the fundamental parts of any sentence or any paragraph, right? So we can capture those and we can find the differences, right? We can find the patterns and we can estimate, right? We can find out, okay, what something might be wrong, right? Potentially.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Anaya?
Yeah.
Any follow-ups?
Not from my end.
Okay. So you mentioned this, right? That you'll be educating those managers or supervisors so that they're sort of starting this culture of reflections. So
Not
basically,
just,
reflection,
yeah, not just managers, but also the employees,
right?
because
So
they
the
are the end one.
okay. So how are you ensuring? I'm sorry. Firstly, these reflections are how you are going to decide their emotions, right?
I didn't get it. Can you repeat?
I'm saying that this NLP thing that you're doing it on the basis of reflections, right?
I mean, not just reflections, but there are other things also, right? Like, say, as I mentioned, right, calculating the, project completion time, right? The timelines and everything. There are lot many other things also.
Okay. So how are you ensuring that these things are tied to their emotions?
By these things, what do you mean?
Like whatever metrics you said, right? Project completion or writing reflections, these can have a lot of factors other than just their emotions. So how are you ensuring that people are able to connect this to emotions and that is affecting the outcome?
Okay. So I think, see, if anybody is facing some challenges, right? So I think the outcome can be clearly seen in the project delivery timelines.
Right, but my point is like, is there a way to tell that emotions was the reason that this was the outcome? Because when you're doing reflections or you're having some kind of project problems, right, there can be a lot of reasons for these problems. So how are you pinpointing that emotions is the reason which is causing problems in the project?
We might not be totally sure if emotions is only the reason, right? So I think that can, in certain cases, I think we need to dig down a bit more, right, to get the fundamental level of that thing.
Yeah, in
So
that digging part, yeah, we are taking the bottlenecks also. While they are giving the bottlenecks, we can analyze the other problems they are facing other than emotions.
There would be the bottlenecks,
Is
maybe
Uma audible
their
to everyone?
personal issues also.
Uma, your voice is breaking. Could you
So
please go
the
ahead?
emotions can be okay. In solving the bottlenecks, now they mention all the things which slowed down their work, right? So at that point now we can understand the emotions at some extent, not full-fledged, maybe up to some extent.
I have a question regarding this. Like, yeah, you were mentioning about this bottlenecks and like emotions, but normally what employees tend to do is they try to hide those emotions and those feelings, right? So if someone wants to hide their anxiety, suppose let's bring anxiety or stress or some unhappiness or any feelings, right? Like, how will is there any way that you will identify a fake response?
As we have the previous data, right? That's one of the things. And second is the timelines, right? Timelines might be affected if somebody is going through such situation. So that would actually help us in identifying if there is something unusual.
But
So
if
you will be detecting the anomalies with the data itself. Yeah. So, but my question is like, suppose I'll give you a scenario context. Like if someone is not able to complete the project, right? But they come up with like they have already completed the project. Good employee. But for this certain project, the deadline has been crossed, and they made an excuse, like they lied. So how would you detect that? So that's also an issue, right? So will your
Well,
AI system will be able to detect that?
okay. I don't know how to answer this because it's a case of somebody like telling lies. So I
Okay,
don't
so
have an
it's just
answer to this as of now.
so it's just like pattern recognition, right? So it won't be going through semantics and anything. It's just based on the pattern, I guess.
I think so, but I think this is a
Actually-
good problem statement to think about.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Actually, what I think is, if the particular employee crosses the deadline, now the technology model will definitely trigger the thing. Right? It's an unusual thing, right? So then project manager can, I mean, take an interaction with the employee and can know the things, what is happening, why the deadline has crossed it, right? Maybe
Yes,
this could
exactly.
be a
Like
small
the
solution.
employee can game the system, right? If you are
Ah,
making that system, the employee can be lazy and he can just give reasons, and
ah,
then he can
maybe
reverse game the
AI
system.
can't, maybe AI can't detect the lies, but project manager can, right? Up to some extent.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Okay. I think, okay, one more just point I wanted to add about how will you be seeing the emotional response if there is no emotional response in data previously. So a lot of organizations don't collect how people are reacting or what kind of emotions they feel about their projects, right? So if you're basing it on patterns, how are you going to make sure that you keep in mind the previous pattern of emotions? But okay, that is just one question. So I think due to the shortage of time, we can move to the next team. So would you guys like to pitch Team Insta Screener?
Yeah. Hi, good evening. So basically, we are trying to solve the problem when a large number of applications are received by the organization. It becomes challenging to HR to review each application. So we came up with the solution is to introduce, like by introducing our AI, we can efficiently handle this initial screening process and let the best candidate go ahead. Yeah, over to Anshul.
Our model will take the inputs from the various CVs uploaded by the candidates, and it will extract all the CVs from the different platforms, and it will get it in the one database. Next. The model will work. It will work evaluating the application as per the metrics we have set and validate it according to the keywords that we have trained the model onto detecting such candidates. Final output will get a report that will be sent as a feedback both to the selected as well as not selected candidates.
Over to Tushar. Tushar, are you there? Okay, so basically we are like trying to evaluate the middlemen from us. Like in the future vision, we are seeing that vision that we can like evaluate a step in the process.
Yeah, so in the future we're gonna implement next stages processes. In the conclusion, we can see that AI-driven model can help the HR to minimize the time of hiring processes, and it helps the company for the cost cutting part. It reduces the cost of the HR, means recruitment processes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Insta Screener, for the pitch. Would Team Drucker like to go ahead with the questions?
I have one doubt actually. So you mentioned, right, that you'll be going across different platforms and gathering the CVs, right? Is it what you meant?
No, basically there will be a job requirement posted, and whoever apply for the job, that CVs will be get collected.
Okay.
Any other questions, Team Drucker?
How are you ensuring the comprehensive? In the last slide, you have mentioned the comprehension, right? You'll be checking for the comprehension. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, comprehensive evaluation.
Yeah. What are
is
the like models you're using to evaluate the comprehension?
like it is the comprehensive assessment of every profile that we can do. And the AI is capable of parsing all the informations from the CV and get it extracted and find the relevant keywords in that CV so that relevant candidates for the job does not get missed out. And AI has the capability of feature extraction also. So it will just combine all the features and provide most accurate uh, a list of people who are getting selected. So it comprehends all the CVs without missing out any applications.
Okay. Okay. I have one question. Like you have mentioned that you want to assess or like I mean check the CVs, right? So what actually are you assessing?
See, in the like when a company is posting a job, they will be have a particular requirement about skills, qualification, or maybe experience. So, according to that, we will like when the applicants post their CVs, we will try to match that.
Okay, and what do you want to do next?
So basically, the applicants who get matched will be selected for the next round.
Okay. So is this next round also a part of your technological model, or is it something
It's
different?
not for now because it may
Okay.
be different for different companies. So maybe in future.
Okay. So okay, I have one follow-up. So basically, I think then it's the model is just responsible for screening the CVs and getting on the right fit, right? Okay.
Right.
So I I think such solutions already exist, right? So I mean, why would somebody use your model?
So the solution is available in a fragmented way.
Okay. What do you mean by
But
that?
our fragmented way means some of the companies were giving the resume screening part, or some of the companies were giving the services of technical round and all. So we are giving all the services in a single platform only. So this is our unique feature.
But it's only one service, right?
No,
The just
Tushar.
screening of candidate, the screening of CVs.
Yeah, but we
I
will
mean, in
also
PPT,
I think Anaya can answer, and then Uma, you can go ahead.
yeah, so even if it is a one procedure, most of the candidates are only getting that CV. Like if you go for that other application, they won't get a feedback after the process, right? So there will be a communication gap. So we are even ensuring that. That's why it's like different because we value the feedback given to the employees or the sorry, not the employees, the applicant there which are applying for the post.
Come to question, why would the organization care about the feedback that will be given to the candidates?
If the fall rates will increase, right? If you're not sure, like if you're selected, rejected, and with what reasons, it creates frustration and it will have that image of a organization like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so just to kind of clarify, right, your product is helping the organization create that image that yes, they care about the feedback that they're giving to all potential employees and even the ones that they're rejecting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, just a scenario, right? Often it happens that some interviewer in an organization, they usually, okay. First, just to clarify, what kind of companies are you targeting?
All the SMEs and MNCs.
Okay. So in such companies, it often happens, right, that even when the job applicant is not particularly experienced or don't have the qualifications, but they might be enthusiastic to learn, or they might have like other personality traits, the supervisors or managers often hire them. So can your product ensure that these kind of people are also being taken into consideration?
Yeah, we can do some changes according to the hiring managers. So
What
hiring
kind of
managers can do some changes according to their requirements.
Okay,
And
but
No, but
wouldn't that
the
clash
question is,
with?
it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Again, I think I'm mentioning the same point, right? That it's not the manager's requirement, right? Their requirement is they hire the person who has most experience. But in that whole process, there would be some people who are lost, right? They don't have that experience, but they are enthusiastic to learn. So how do you cater to that?
See, if like in even manual processing, they first check the requirements which they have, right? So it is just an initial screening. Later, if they are okay with the freshers, they can put that in their like when we are evaluating the matching the data, they can put that okay, freshers are okay. Then it will eventually match and get them that candidates. Basically, they are only going to go for the further processes of interviewing or whatever test they want to take. So it is just an initial screening what we are doing.
Okay, but then how is that encouraging, like giving feedback? Sure, you value your employees are giving feedback, if even if the person is getting rejected. But how is this going to be different from any other automated email system or just any other selection process of any automated company in general?
Most of the companies do not give feedbacks after that or have a communication gap. And the process also gets slowed down, right? So we are just making it quick for them so that they don't have to have that communication gap.
I have a follow-up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, see, hiring for your client, right? I think it's something that we pay very. I mean, we are very responsible to, right? So I mean, even if there is a slightest mistake, I mean, right? The reputation is affected, right? And I mean, we also do know that I mean the resumes, right, that people submit do not cater to everything, right? Like somebody might give a resume that's full of fluff, right? That might contain things that actually is written down to please you, right? And your AI might take up that resume as the shortlisted one. So how do you cater to this? Because I think this kind of things can create problems, right? When the candidate is being taken into account for interview or something.
Okay, but how will the like we are not setting the keys for that. We are only setting the keys for the initial process where we only evaluate according to the skills and the requirements like experience pressure or something like that, like whatever the organization needs it. So
Hmm. Right,
lateral
totally
part,
agreed. Yeah,
yeah,
agreed. But see, I may write few things, right, just to please you.
in
So
the
for
res
example, say for example, I mean, you may put a skill set about say JavaScript, right? Where I may be from a different background. I just know just very bare minimum of JavaScript, but I still write JavaScript there, right? So it's basically making your system fail, right? By adding that just one keyword there, which I might not be proficient on.
okay, but even in manually, how are you going to get that that person doesn't know JavaScript?
Right, exactly. That's the concept of the interviews, right? Where we actually screen them based on their personality wise and
No,
also
we
the skill set.
yeah,
I'll
person
like in this case we are just initial screening, and based on the client requirement we are doing first initial screening. Rest we are passing on to the second stage of interview where he'll be manually interacting with the interviewer HR. So in that case these all the people who have like manually have done it, like falsified it, they have the chances in identified in this stage, but that is not now currently in the scope.
But again, right, you'll get a lot of candidates then because they'll be bypassing your system, right? So I mean, I think the effort is still the same, right? Because they know how to bypass your system and they can go to directly to the interview round, the manual interview basically.
Is there any way that you guys can ensure that people are not bypassing the system? Any kind of measures that you can set?
that's just not in the scope for now. We'll evaluate that.
Okay.
My question is, there are many tools, right, to taking the feedback for the CV, right? So how it is, your model is better than their models that giving feedback regarding the CV. So it is the only thing of your model.
So our model is related to they were giving the feedback via email, okay? And our model is related to the accuracy. So the more accuracy, the more is the feedback
Uh, to get
result.
accuracy, now
Okay,
you have to take the data from somewhere else. Where do you get the data?
from the
Again,
CVs only, no?
they're getting it from the CVs and the keywords and everything, right?
Yeah.
But Tushar, we just mentioned, right, that people might try to bypass the system if it's just screening applications. So how are you ensuring that the accuracy is high? Anyone from Insta
I guess I will work on this because right now our product is not completed yet. So I will work on this.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
have
Thank you. Yeah, please go
a
ahead, Pavni.
question. So when you're screening the people based on the keywords like skills, experience, and all, what is the kind of feedback you want to deliver? Like feedback on their personality or of just the skills and experience?
Yeah, the reason they got like rejected, we will basically give the feedback on that. Or yeah,
Okay, again, there's
Where do
that.
you,
Yeah.
where would you get that reason? How are you getting
see,
that reason?
like we are initially we are matching it, right? So it is pretty, it will be pretty evident like what are they like for this job.
Okay. Also, I think I have a question on that feedback thing only. So if you are just looking for those keywords, right, then how would that candidate get quality feedback? Because you mentioned, right, that the feedback is something that is making you unique.
So basically, if we go for a designation, if we take an example of business analytics, so we basically focus on the keywords, key skills and keyword. According to the skills, we set the keywords. And if a candidate doesn't have, if we take the example of business analytics, if a candidate doesn't have the skills of making the documentation part, or he don't know about the business requirement documents, so there is uh, no way to hire that candidate. Okay, so these are the skills we're gonna see when we hire a candidate.
How
So
are you
when
ensuring that all the
Okay, but
candidates,
just a
sorry, just a quick
sorry.
follow-up. How
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you
Go ahead.
ensuring that the candidates include these keywords in their resume?
Sorry.
I'm asking how will you ensure that the candidate includes these keywords in your resume? What if they are experienced, but they don't include the specific keyword on the basis of which you're shortlisting them?
We will
There are
analyze possible data, like what are they using for
uh,
like
actually,
all
Samida,
other
there are
tools.
certain skills required for a particular job role. Okay, so it not depends on the candidates, depends on the requirements.
so all of these requirements will be mentioned in the job description, right?
Yeah.
So if a candidate is not suitable, like if he doesn't have the skills and
Yes.
he got rejected, he will automatically understand that because of lack of these skills, I got
Yeah.
rejected. What
So
is the use of
basically,
sending feedback?
in the feedback only we have we will write these things. Okay, so this candidate doesn't have these kind of skills, so they got rejected. So the candidate have a knowledge, have don't have this kind of skills, so got rejected, and then he will rectify himself and improve himself in the next job applications. If
Okay.
you want.
Yeah, thank you, Tushar, for answering that. In the interest of time, I think we can stop here. So, thank you so much, Team Insta Screener and Team Rucker, for answering the questions. We can quickly go ahead with the reflections, right? I think there are a lot of things to be shared based on whatever questions were asked. Who would like to take the initiative first?
Okay, I will go. So basically questions came from the like very different aspect, like we didn't even plan for them. So it just gave us like pretty much accuracy, like where are we lacking? Like the accuracy was asked. We knew like we know that okay, there should be an accuracy, but in screening, always the accuracy is almost about 80 to 85%. It won't be never 100%, but we didn't thought about the parameters like firmly. So yeah, that was what I did.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing, Anaya. Who would like to go next?
Yeah.
So
So
in a
basically,
Tushar, then Uma, is that okay?
okay. So basically, we talked about the key point indicators. What are the key point indicators we're gonna uh, focus on for the performance analysis?
Okay, thank you for mentioning that, Tushar. Yes, Uma.
So in our discussion, we encountered the major question that how would we detect the emotions of that employer, right? So I got to know that we are not 100% going to calculate the emotions, or we are not able to 100% predict the emotions, but we are going to predict up to some extent only. The remaining thing manager can take care, I think. So that is my insight in my pitch I got.
Yeah, I would like to share my reflection. So, from this dialogue, we also got a new problem statement. We assume that we have the data of that employee, like previous data, but what if the employee starts reflection just now? We don't have that data of like that employee previous data. So we can work on that.
I'll want to share my reflection. In the entire case study and discussions we had, many things I got to know and many questions were like we didn't thought about. And some key one of the participant also asked, then when keywords are not matching, then how the model will respond and what are your backup plans? And also when it is falsified, then how to cater that? Those two aspects, it was a learning for me.
Thank you for sharing, Anshul. Who would like to go next? Maybe the co-moderators. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was very informative session, right? So as I've been working with this AI closely, like, yeah, it's really tough to come up with set matrices and set patterns having 100% accuracy. It's a challenge for everything to find out all those features, right? So yeah, I was amazed to see all these features, and yeah, both team tried very hard, right? Like it was like good discussion, like very informative. Like we can use it on our own projects as well. So I'm glad to be part of this. Thank you.
Yeah, I can go next. I think one insight that I got, right, was how you can think of different use cases for your technological model, right? Like for Team Insta's screener, they were initially doing just like, initial phase screening. But then, during the dialogue, we saw how that accuracy part was missing. Just, just catering to the keywords might not be enough. So that is something that they can think of, right, in future. So that will be a new use case of their technological model, right? That now it will not just support the keyword, but it will also, see that that accuracy wala part and also in the feedback. So yeah, that would be.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you, Purnima. Shavan, would you like to go with the reflection?
Yeah. So one of the interesting insights I got like during the discussion was like, how do you like find out say bluffs, right, or say lies into the system? So I think that was an interesting thread. I mean, I think both of the parties, right? Like one, we talked about the resume parsing thing, and we also talked about journals or say fake reflections, right? That somebody might just try to play with the system. So I think that's one of the things that we can. That's really interesting. I think we can work around this, how to solve this, right? And I think I also, I mean, got one sort of answer for this, right? Like, this can help the second team basically, right? So, you mentioned, right, that we will be having this resume parsing, right? But what if you add one more layer, right, on top of it, that not just assesses their skill sets, but also assesses their understanding, right, the conceptual level details of their skill set. I think that adding a second layer to it can actually help you in this, right? So I think that would be my request.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing, Shawan. So I'm the only one left for the reflection, right? Okay, so I think this time I saw that difference between, having a technological model versus just automating a few processes. So there is a big separation, right? When we're talking about technological models, sorry, it's not just about Uma, please mute yourself. Yeah, it's not just about increasing the speed and efficiency. It's also about like the business aspect, what kind of values your tech revolution is kind of holding. So like we talked about this thing, okay, is it just giving feedback, or is it helping people recognize the reputation of the organization? Is the feedback helping employees to, be there present as a backup? So is the technology helping with the strategy of the organization, or is it just sort of automating one of the processes? And what kind of impacts are being created in the first way? Like, what are the immediate impacts of the technological change? And also, are there different cases that the technology is able to manage? So I think those were some important things that were discussed and questioned. I think there is still a lot of scope for improvement in whatever problems we were trying to solve, right? So I think technological models is an interesting way to do that. So thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you everyone who listened. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion on technological models, and you can take back home some questions that we can have another dialogue on. So thank you.